Hi, welcome to week 3. This is Tekla. I'm having a little trouble with my video, so I'm just going to show you the pages of what's going on in week 3 and describe to you what you're going to be working on. And so I'm not trying to hide from you, I just want to get this done and up so those of you who are working ahead can get this done. So I'll go back to where I was here with the week 3. Oh, I went too far. There we are. So what we talked about in week 1 partially was the importance of our presence with families. And so what I want to do now is just start with a micro practice. And because we can't see each other, I'm going to do a very short one. But this one is shorter and easier than the body scan. It's just taking a breath in and a breath out. So do it with me. And as you breathe in, say to yourself, breathing in, I do my best, and then breathing out, I let go of the rest. So you could do this in your mind. So if you breathe in, you're going to tell yourself, breathing in, I do my best. Breathing out, I let go of the rest. And it seems so easy, but actually it's very powerful, and you could even pause the video and try it quietly by yourself for a moment and just see how you feel differently after having tried it. Great, so now we're ready to jump in. So objectives and assignments for week 3. I kind of see this week as a transition from talking about the essential program elements and other details of the program, mission, vision, philosophy, and looking at that a little bit and starting to tie that more to your practice and really looking at what does a first home visit look like, what are some things you want to do to be prepared for that. So we are going to look a little bit about how we are embedded in the community, in the work that we do, the relationship, the kind of key best practice principles that exist in Firstborn. And so the assignments will be to read the documents in the content folder, to watch videos in the video folder, to attend the Zoom meeting, and the invite for that is in the Getting Started module, to post to the discussion board and reply to at least 2 peers, take the quiz, and complete the written assignment. It can seem like a lot, but again, take a deep breath in and out, and let's look at what we've got here for you for this week. So what I've put here is to ask you to, if you're already doing home visits, be mindful of, like, you're already going to have seen these program elements if you've already been trained. You're going to know about home visitor competencies. All this stuff right here you've already seen if you've been trained. If not, this is all really important stuff to read. And I've also added a couple of pages from the textbook. This is the section that we'll be talking about in the Wednesday Zoom section, so please look it over. Again, you don't really have to read all of it if you have experience. You can just look over the headings and kind of get a sense, oh, I want to read this part, or oh yeah, that's true. It's really talking about how to prepare for a first visit, and then common courtesies and guidelines. And actually those are my favorite part of what's in the textbook. I think it's very useful information, or just kind of a good reminder of how to approach visits in the best way with families. So I've put all these things here as required reading. Again, your book. Click on these to find these. They're pretty short. There are a lot of articles. You don't need to read all of them. I have suggested that if you're already doing home visits, you've probably already read at least one of these articles. If you love articles, feel free to read them. If you're not much of an article reader, but you're new, please do pick 2 articles to read from this list. There's some things by Ivan de la Rosa, who is out of NMSU, and he's looked at Firstborn and some of the benefits. That's a great article right there. And then Becky Kilburn from RAND also has written a lot of these articles talking about the benefits of home visiting. And then there was an Albuquerque Journal article about the Firstborn program. And again, if you're new and you have not received any training before in home visiting, I would encourage you to read Involving the Medical Community and the Fidelity Checklist and Implementation Guide. Again, you will know that if you've already been trained. Everyone does need to know this, but it should be already covered for those of you who have been home visiting for a while. So then the videos for week 3 are short, and it's nice. It actually has here, I'll be doing this in the future, how long they last. I love this 3.5-minute video. I would encourage everyone to watch it. It's just inspirational and it's fun, and it reminds you why we're all doing this. If you're newer or you want 12 and a half minutes of inspiration, this video is also similar. Like, what's great about home visiting? It has interviews and quotes from families who are receiving home visiting as well as home visitors. Then in the discussion for this week, what you'll be posting about is to look at the content folder, pick one topic, and please write the following. Why did you select this reading assignment? What's your overall impression of the information presented? And what's the message that you received from reading it? And then how can you apply that idea, one concept or idea, to what you're doing? And then you'll be responding to 2 peers. So pretty easy for that this week. There's also a quiz. You can go into that, take that quickly. The read, reflect, apply for this week, again, goes over at the top a lot of the stuff that's highlighted for the week, the objectives. But there is a 3-part, and again, if you've been trained before, you should be able to go right to these bulleted points and answer them without having to necessarily go back and reread things, although you're welcome to do that. So when you look at competencies 2 through 9, remind yourself what those are. They kind of go over them here. Communication, so you can include fan stuff in there if you want to. Cultural sensitivity, teaching, decision making, all that stuff. Which one of these competencies is the most difficult for you or might be? And which one comes easily for you? And give an example or talk about why you think that would be easy for you. And then when you look at competencies 10 through 29, 29 is CPR, so probably no one will pick that one, but it may be interesting to you. Which one is most interesting and why? And then looking at the essential elements and the fidelity checklist, what do you think is the most important program element that ensures positive family outcomes? And pick a strategy for maintaining program effectiveness that relates to that program element, and why do you think that strategy is important? For part 3, share 3 key strategies that you use to share or to demonstrate respect and establish a positive connection with families. That is really starting on page 306 in your textbook. Under common courtesies and guidelines, these are great guidelines. It's like respect, I mean, they're obvious, but they're also great. Respect the client's time, announce yourself, introduce yourself, what to do if a client isn't home. That's something I'd actually like to talk about as a group because that's an interesting challenge. What to wear during home visiting. I actually have some things to say about that during class, having done a lot of home visiting and joint home visiting. Respect, how to demonstrate respect and establish a positive connection. Overcoming distractions. So there's actually a section in the book that talks about media like TV, pets, other people, drug and alcohol use, cluttering or hoarding, or they don't really talk about this, but really dirty conditions or like cockroaches, bed bugs, other insects that you find when you go on home visits. That could make for a lively discussion. So looking at those, I think is all important. But what you'll be doing here is sharing the 3 key strategies to demonstrate the respect and establish a positive connection, which is one of the points in your book here. And then talk about a time in your life when you've tried to establish a positive connection with someone and it has gone wrong. I think that's happened to all of us probably more times than we wish it would have. So this could have been in home visiting, in your personal life, or at another job, anywhere. Just describe the situation, tell what you learned from it, and how you would approach the situation differently if you had a chance for a do-over. So one of the key ideas actually that we'll be going over in the future is the idea of a do-over. It's a great strategy with children, and actually as adults it can be a good way to be like, hey, I just messed up. If I could do that over, this is what I would do. Or with children, you can actually practice it. Like they just dump their peas on the floor, but they actually aren't done with dinner, and you're like, okay, if you had a chance to do it over, what would you do? And it's either, I think it's Dan Siegel who talks about that in his books, but it might be one of those other major brain researchers. So that's what the week looks like. I did post in the Zoom area what we'll be talking about in the Zoom meeting to make that a little bit easier. So what it is, talking about the textbook pages, preparing for an initial visit, common courtesies, and then if anything stood out from you from the readings, please take some notes about that and bring it to the meeting and we can talk about it. And I look forward to seeing you all soon, and hopefully I will figure out this video thing, and our next week 4 explained will also be some video along with the recording. All right, see you on Wednesday. Thank you.